Oh, guys, it's another dark log from the diary of a griever named John Weaver, which is me. It's midnight, guys. It's Friday. It's the 20th of December, February 2026. Don't mind me, I'm not even live or awake yet. I'm trying to get there. Um, I wish I had been more on the politics to keep track and responded like everybody else, but, being what I am right now. Give me 1 second here. Sorry about this. And getting around, waiting for my dog to start screaming and yelling her head off. But if she's the only thing that's going to be yelling and screaming her head off, how about the rest of the world and how about the rest of the population? Not to mention the country saying it's bored of peace, this gaggle of assholes. Literally. Thinking they're going to be controlling the world's economy. Proposing that there's going to be rebuilding of the Gaza Strip. And using it and turning it into Las Vegas. While throwing at the Palestinian people to the wind. No oversight, no legislation, no rules, regulations. Just collective people wanting more and more out of us. Countries that already have their own authoritative regimes going on. And some of them are supposedly democratic, but they're not democratic. Turn this damn thing off here. So this is what we got. Give me a second here. I know the camera angle is going to be screwed up. Generally it is. But it's just the way our world is. Lopsided. So use this as an example, guys. We got a lopsided world. We're not looking for peace and regulation, and hopefully there'll be something to have our generations understand, and not to mention future generations, understanding that with the collective of nations that originally started around right after World War II, we were trying to create the peace or maintain stability so we didn't go thermonuclear on each other, quite literally. Because of the invention of the atomic bomb, there was a lot, in my own personal opinion and observations and research, that we needed an oversight of our own overreach. We had created monster weapons that would have destroyed the world, and our own agendas were clashing with each other. I mean, it had already been clashing for centuries, but we needed something stable. And in the United Nations, we could have thrown soldiers in a situation either for humanitarian or unfortunately for combative to try to maintain peace and a little bit of stability until the government system in there is reestablished to hold on that area's security and stability and possibly any common sense, if they actually had any. Yes, we had the communist scare back in the 40s and 50s. In the 60s. Going through these classes I've been going through in the community college, understanding what we've gone through in history, relearning stuff I had forgotten along the way. It's making me realize that we are steps closer to a nuclear warfare than we realize. And now we've got these countries, the Board of Peace, with no legislation, no rules, no regulations, nothing adapted, just rich people. Rich people. Wanting more and more and more. They want more land. They want more control of everything. I said it before in my videos at this point over here. We fight over two things. We fight over ego. We fight over resources. I had a dream a few nights ago that we're going to be going into World War III. We're going to be going into a nuke fest. Scared the fuck out of me. It was one thing watching other shows that would scare the shit out of me, but this was about a reality check. I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know how, but we're getting into it. It scares the hell out of me. It does. So, thinking that our world is going to be in a worse place than anything else, I'm just overwhelmed, stunned, and freaked. Like everybody else would be freaked if they thought that the end of the world was coming. And yeah, there had been crazies out there throughout the decades, kept saying it with their own science and saying the end is near or end is now or something like that. Well, maybe. Maybe they knew something that we didn't. Because with our out of control spending right now, we are going to be going bankrupt. Our countries are going to be going bankrupt while these other people are just munching. And no wonder we've got folks who are still in the spiritual, or actually in the supposed religious aspects of our society, keep saying that we're coming into the rapture, we're coming into revelations, we're coming into gloom and doom. Well, maybe we've already had the gloom and doom, we're still waking up to the fact that our countries are going to go bankrupt. We're feeding these assholes so much money and power that I'm wondering how our own planet's going to be living and surviving when everything that we've got is being used up. Rules and regulations that we had in the United States for controlling greenhouse gases wiped out because Trump wants more money and power, and his friends want more money and control and power and stuff. They want more resources. They want to make more and more. But the limited atmosphere that we have is being used up, slowly but surely. We've got weather conditions happening that people say, no, it's not happening, it's not happening. You're lying. Listen to me, I know what I'm talking about. Bullshit. We already got the data. We already know what the hell we're supposed to be doing. But we're not doing it. We said, fuck it. I had to say it that how did some of the other countries who changed their government structures, how did they end up either bankrupt or going through bankruptcy, and how are they getting out of it, and who are they owing the debts to? Our country, the United States of America, is going to be celebrating 250 years. I think we're going to be celebrating it as debtors perpetuity. It's my own observation, my own humble opinion at this point over here. And yes, the voters wanted to change, and now they can't get rid of it. They heard the con. They bought into it many times in many places from the same asshole and the same type of assholes. Case in point, California. We had one of our senators coming out here trying to tell California one-time tax we need out of the billionaires. And I heard so much scoffing from the billionaires, including from our own governor going to be getting the hell out of Dodge. And he's running. He's running for presidency. He's going to crash and burn. We're going to have a Republican who's going to cheat their way through the system to get into it. I wouldn't put it past Vance to do that. I wouldn't put it past Trump and still trying to screw over the voters one way or another. Trump still wants the power over voters. He's taking the power away from the states, putting it into the federal hands by making all these damn executives. But the problem is he's got the Constitution, and he's saying, fuck the Constitution and fuck the American people. I want it this way, now. This is what we're getting ourselves into, guys. Russian Federation has been around for several decades, I believe. Prior to that, they were an empire. But prior to that, they were just a kingdom of rich people versus the poor people. What was it? Cossacks versus something else? Yeah. Proletariats versus the Cossacks. And revolutions happen in that country, to the point where they actually had the communists who had the guns taking control over more and more. And the more they took control and the more they added more and more of their budget into the military, they depleted a lot of resources that they actually had that the public could use to survive on. Less and less of food and materials and medicine, more need for it. But the military and the government wanted more and more until bankruptcy. Throwing up a wall in the middle of a country, walling of a city, just to prove a point, right after World War II. It took them decades for that wall to come down, but an economy collapsing left and right. But the country where the wall was at, they were getting strength. They were getting stronger because they had coalitions, they had cooperation, they had help from other nations to rebuild their nation. Until there's no more. And generations after that, they don't know about the Berlin Wall. But those who are old enough to remember it, read it in the history books, are seeing it collapse. Our generation is dying out slowly. We've seen it. We're the witnesses, but that's being screwed over, isn't it, one way or another? But we're seeing people getting screwed over one way or another. Suppressing freedom of speech, suppressing a lot of our rules, regulations, freedoms that we've taken for granted, laws that were installed, because those in power want more. The incessant greed is, you see the corporations raising prices for only the rich to afford the luxuries that some people actually took for granted for decades and then suddenly cast it out. I'll pick on one with 2 ears, massive ears, and a nose, and has a smiling face with a weird-ass laugh. Built an empire. Animation into theme parks, into everything else. Well, it was supposed to have been affordable for families to go to celebrate life. They can't even do that. What was it, about $20 for a damn ice cream pop? Or worse? How about a chunk of pineapple? What do you want, $10, $15 for a sliver? Well, the actual pineapple will be about $5 or $6 in itself, or maybe more than that, in the groceries. And just to get the company logo in different forms and formats. When you have metal with ink and lamination on it, to show how much you are for the company and the ideas and ideologies. You talk about we have a cult of a lot of things happening. Companies, corporations keep changing certain ideas and ideologies around whether or not we're going to be seeing one form or fashion of it that we would want to see to continuing this one man's dream that created this shit being subjugated and diluted a great deal. To what? I don't know. All the old stars dying off. New stars who are trying to show the new ideologies of how the future could be. Space, travel, life, survival of humanity, something. We do the hands that are coming out of the Jewish celebration. What are they doing? Some kind of benediction. The spreading of the hands in a certain format. In a form and fashion. I don't know what the hell we're going to be doing for the next 10, 15, 20 years, except probably going bankrupt. We're going to be seeing less and less on food. We're going to be seeing less and less on gas. More prices going up. People are trying to shift from one state to another state to another state to see if anybody else has got life support or freedom enough to do their life support or any places available to sleep without getting thrown out in the streets. We have people trying to protest left and right, and they're getting tossed out left and right. Let's try this one for another video.